Well, it's 2:35 and we've reached the waterfall. We're in the head of the canyon. Classic Box Canyon. Now the problem is the ice. The whole mouth of that thing is covered with ice. And that's the way the trail goes. If you slip on that ice, you go down there where the rest of that ice is. Then you can just freeze yourself up good there. But there's one little bench right here, and then it drops off just tremendously in front of that, and then it continues to drop off. But right over there is where all the ruins are. So I'm going to look and see if I can find a way to get over there. Well, I successfully navigated myself to the bottom. There's Art up there on the trail. Now I'm going to see if I can get up this side over here and get around. Let's see what this looks like over here. Now you can see a waterfall actually starts up quite a bit higher and comes down to this one. Here we go. See what we got. You see water coming off the side of the cliff here. Have seeps. Hard to believe that that's the where the trail is that Art and I walked in on. That's the way we came. Okay, well, I've been hacking my way back here to get to them. It's 3 o'clock and I finally getting within sight of the first set of runs here. So it's quite a ways back from the waterfall. And the trail is just as much a hacker as the other side is.
The Salado culture is widely studied and understood compared to the Anchan culture. The Anchan culture occupied a small region in central Arizona during the same time frame. The Anchan culture is believed to have developed out of the native populations that occupied the region back as far as 800 AD. They acquired traits that could be traced to the Mogollon culture that occupied the Mogollon Rim and eastern Arizona into western New Mexico. Most archaeologists consider them to be of the Mogollon culture.
We're getting right around at the base of that thing. Actually right there you can see the uranium mine and where some other ruins used to be. There's a small run over there. That's the uranium mine. That's right where the trail runs along the other side. Okay, let me see how many of these I can get. At one time there was probably multiple layers back as well as multiple layers up. That upper stories, lower story. And there's a couple of big rooms out there. suspect that there were a couple back here as well. So this is one section, the first section of land. And then there's a gap, and then there's some more.
The Ancha grew beans, corn, and squash. However, they did not have the irrigation capabilities that the Salado had. At the ruins, there is no place to grow anything near the sites due to the topography. Instead, they farmed the flats near the creek, benches at the heads of the canyons, or on the tops of mesas. They had to rely on dry land farming techniques to raise their crops. Pottery recovered from Ancha ruins indicate they had considerable contact with their neighbors to the southwest, the Salado, as a significant amount of polychrome was found. However, most of the pottery was of the Mogollon black on white variety known as Cibola, or Cibola white, and a black on white on red called White Mountain Red.
Okay, now on to the next set. After more up and down and bushwhacking, I think even fewer people come over here. So you can see the water dripping right there from above. Water, running water right in the house.
The Ancha built many small, medium, and large stone pueblos along the banks of major creeks and on the tops of high mesas. A large number of these were revealed recently when a wildfire called the Coon Creek Fire burned over 10,000 acres in the Sierra Ancha wilderness, a result of a careless camper that didn't put out their campfire.
Pieces of rock. Look like 2x6s. Piece of the board still in that one laying up there. Black in there from burning fires and such.
There are a number of theories on why they built the cliff dwellings in such high and inaccessible locations. One theory suggests that during a drought, the moisture in the lower elevations dried up, and they had to move farther up the canyon to find permanent water. They may have been built as a defensive measure against raiding tribes. I know the last grizzly bear to be killed in Arizona was in 1936. If they were around when the Ancha occupied the area, that would be enough reason for me to build a stone fortress. The dwellings were not occupied very long. In fact, during the 1930s, Emil Ari gathered tree ring data, and it was determined that the earliest trees dated from 1290. The ruins were abandoned around 1330, meaning they stayed only 40 years, or 2 generations.
Big beams that they had in here.
Their culture disappeared by 1400, probably due to the same factors that led to the Anasazi, Salado, Signagua, Mogollon, and other long thriving cultures of the same time frame. I have my own theory, and it relates to the mini ice age that hit Europe during the 14th century. That ice age lasted until the middle 19th century, so by the time the West was being settled, there had already been 500 years of a different climate than what the prehistoric cultures had experienced. The same forces that plunged Europe into the cold could have had a major effect on the weather in the Southwest, such as being hotter and drier. After all, these people survived and indeed thrived until something had a lasting impact on all of them around the same time. Whatever the reason or event,
14 inches in diameter.
it enforces my objective to help preserve and protect these and other sites for the future. After all, the cultures survived very well for 700 years. Don't allow it to be said we destroyed these historic sites in our short time here.